Salam everybody and welcome back to the Majlis Podcast where we talk about all things Afghan. I'm your host Mansoor and as always with me is Noori. I'm excited to introduce our two remarkable guests, both of whom have inspiring stories of resilience and success, each taking a unique path to achieve their goals. First, we have Sohail John. Born in Afghanistan, Sohail came to the United States at the young age of 10. Growing up in a single-parent household, he faced numerous challenges from adapting to a new culture and language to navigating the complexities of immigrant life. Despite these obstacles, Sohail persevered, went to college, earned his degree, and has since become a vital member of his community as an electrical engineer at the largest utility company in California. Next, we have Attal John. Also born in Afghanistan, Attal moved to the United States in his mid-teens. Navigating a new environment, his hard work ethic and entrepreneurial mindset led him to build a successful business in the tobacco industry. His journey from a young immigrant to a thriving business owner highlights his dedication and entrepreneurial spirit. Both Sohail and Attal have incredible stories of overcoming adversity and achieving success, and I'm thrilled to have them on the podcast today. Welcome, boys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so I know Eid just passed. Eid Mubarak to everybody watching and to everybody here. I want you guys to share what's your guys' favorite part about Eid.
I mean, all that stuff is important. I want to know, when is it okay to kill someone? When is it justifiable? I'm just messing with you, man.
I was like, okay.
We're going to start getting into the stand your ground laws and stuff.
No. I was like, let's
It's okay to kill someone during Eid al-Qurban. Not someone, something.
Justifiable.
Something.
Justifiable, yeah.
Yeah, something.
Just putting it out there.
My favorite thing for Eid, obviously the kids, because I remember Eid being, when I think about Eid, adult Eid is just boring. You're doing things, but when you were a kid, man, the new clothes, the smell of the leather, the new shoes, and then seeing your favorite uncle that always bought the most money. Yeah, so I actually kind of relive it through my kids and seeing them being excited and kids, being kids, feeling like a kid, and then trying to make those experiences possible for them, what I experienced, So I guess that's my favorite part about Eid. Religious stuff too, obviously, Allahu Akbar, but the money, for the kids, that's, how do you, what's your favorite thing,
Yeah, I feel like Eid changes, right? Like when you're a kid, your favorite things are getting the money and things like that and seeing all your cousins running up and down the stairs and stuff. But now, no one gives me Eid anymore,
Yeah.
My favorite part is giving the Eid, honestly. Like the kids, like giving it to the kids and stuff and then seeing their excitement and stuff.
Yeah,
So
I think
I
it's
like
for
that.
the kids more, As you grow older, it's just, it feels good.
What can we do to, like, make it more fun for the adults?
Yeah, I want to hear this.
Any ideas?
Make
I think,
Eid
like,
more
at this-
fun.
I think, like Attal said, right? Like, it's kind of not about us, right? If you have kids, it's about them, right? Like when you were a kid, right? You liked it because your elders were giving out money.
Yeah.
You liked it. You had that uncle that had the dopest outfit. He wore everything.
Yeah.
He had the
Accessorized.
He had the
Yeah.
$2 bills. I still remember that uncle that was the only one that had the $2 bills.
Oh yeah, I love
You
that.
passed
uncle.
that out, and then you got the feeling of Eid from them.
Yeah.
So now it's like you already lived it as an adult. When you have your kids, you're like, it's all more about why you celebrate it, why you should. It's your identity, and then you gotta show up so that your kids, you can have influence on them. You can pass out money if you want. You can pass out gifts, whatever. Just as long as you do something.
I like your
It's for
point.
them.
I like your point. It's past us.
Yeah.
Our turn is done. It's their time, and it's selfish to try to make it fun for us
Yeah.
now because it's about them.
And their fun is our fun. That's
Yeah.
the way you gotta look at it.
Yeah, but there's more to it. Just kids and adults, right? Because when you're like 16, 17, 18, you just start noticing girls and stuff, and then you go to like Idgah and stuff. with that little ugly mustache that's barely growing,
Two
and
hairs.
looking around, you know. It's I remember, you know, I used to do that, you know, just looking around, like, you know, my fit is good. Yeah, but cut this shit out, you know.
Off record.
Yeah, but what can we do to make it fun for us? What do you think, Noori? What's your favorite thing about it?
I would say probably just seeing like everyone, because I mean, for me personally, like outside of Eid, I don't really see like all the family together all at once often. So for me, it's good to see everyone, especially all the guys, like the cousins, the family. Because honestly, sometimes the simple things that are most enjoyable stuff.
Yeah, but you know, I think environment has a big thing, like a big effect on Eid. You know, if you're in let's say a Muslim country, the whole nation is celebrating. So there's this energy. In America, or you know, most Western countries, you know, alhamdulillah, you know, we live in a community, you know, where, you know, we have different mosques and, you know, we have our stores and stuff like that. But when there's an energy, the whole nation, you know, it just feels different. Have you ever spent Eid in a Muslim country?
I was in Turkey once.
Yeah.
But you know what? My family wasn't there, so it didn't feel the same. I feel like if
Yeah.
your family was there.
Yeah.
But you guys have spent
Oh,
Eid
yeah.
in Muslim
Yeah.
countries.
I have two in Pakistan before.
Oh,
I mean, I was really young. I don't remember too much, but I remember it was a big deal. Like they shut the whole city down, and I was a kid, so it was really fun.
I think about it this way, like, you know, when you're fasting, let's say like you have a date to make up and you're the only one out of your family fasting.
Mm-hmm.
Compare that feeling to when it's Ramadan and all of you guys
Yeah.
are fasting.
Very good
You
analogy.
know? That's
Very
like
good
the
analogy.
difference. There's a whole energy, like you said, to
Yeah.
it. Everybody's on the same frequency. You're just, you know, everybody's zoned in and they know. And, you know, it's kind of weird, but I mean, I don't know how you quantify, but like there is something there when everybody is doing it together. There's energy that you feel it. You can't touch it, you can't see it, but you could definitely
the
feel it.
atmosphere.
The atmosphere, yeah.
Well, you know, speaking about the atmosphere, okay, I went to Mexico. I had these delicious tacos, okay, and I was observing this guy, okay, no marination, nothing. He just had the meat and he grilled it and he chopped it up with some, you know, some salsa and stuff like that. And I was like, damn, you know, I've been putting all these types of stuff in there to make the meat taste better. It's just meat, and you just put salsa, okay? So I did the same thing at home, and then I'm eating it, and I was like, is this sandals I'm eating? What the hell is this? You know, it doesn't taste. Hala, hala, hala. You know, I realized like it was just the atmosphere, everything together.
Yeah.
The sound, the smell,
Yeah.
and everything. That's what made it delicious.
Yeah.
I think Eid is like that too. It was kind of a random example, but you know.
That was like street food, right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, they don't really have street food here. Or, I mean, maybe like carnival and stuff, you know, but you don't have where you could just go down the street and then pick you up some, you know,
But-
snack on.
I see the point you're making though, like the comparison, because like if you were just eating food at home, right, there's more focus on the food itself versus the atmosphere, the environment, right? Whereas like if you're eating street food, you're around your boys, there's like entertainment going around. The food honestly might just hit just because of like everything else.
That's true. Yeah. But in Kandahar, they have melas, you know. I mean, I don't know right now, but back in the day when my dad and them talk about it, an Eid mela, you know, where the whole city would just go to this carnival and, you know, they would have food and a bunch of stuff, you know. So they did things for adults too.
Oh,
They
this-
still have that, yeah.
They did that this year in Sacramento.
Yeah. And, the big mela that was here.
Yeah.
Was there really?
The, you know, when they had all the
All the
mosques
mosques.
come together, yeah.
All the mosques got together at Cal Expo.
This previous Eid too?
I think it
No-
was the
no,
the
the first
the
one.
Ramadan Eid.
Yeah, yeah.
They had games for kids. I didn't go. I heard.
Yeah.
I heard
it
there was
pretty big.
thousands of people.
Mm.
Like, they said like
Pretty
40,000
crazy.
people showed up.
It's pretty wild.
I didn't even know you could fit that many people in there. But
Yeah, Sohail, is your job AI proof, or can AI take over?
it's AI proof,
It's
definitely.
AI proof, really?
Yeah.
What about you guys?
I don't know,
Think
to
you
be
need.
honest.
I think a lot of things need a human touch.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
And any job where you're dealing with a customer, like in our case, clients,
yeah.
AI can't replace that.
AI just becomes a tool to help you deliver better products, but like stakeholder management, client relationships, like I don't think it'll.
I mean, pretty soon there's gonna be AI Hajj, right? You put those goggles and you just go there, right?
The virtual Hajj.
They're gonna have to give fatwa on that. When is this allowed, or what do we do?
Wait, that's actually happening?
Yeah,
That's
it's
a good
happening.
idea.
No.
It's
It's happening.
A virtual Hajj. Then,
Yeah, you hold the little VR thing, right?
Yeah.
And you can just go and you can like go to different rooms, but you just be sitting in your own house.
I wonder what if. I feel like this is a random thing. I feel like 50 years from now, or at some point, someone's gonna give the fatwa like, oh, if someone's disabled or can't physically do it or they're too old, let them do it, like that. You never know.
Yeah.
Like for example, I mean, it just depends about how maybe conservative or liberal the sheikh is. But like, there's been sheikhs in U.S. that have given the fatwa that you can buy one house that's interest-bearing loan, right? But if you go to the Middle East, they'll be like, there's no exceptions. I don't care where you live, So you never know, man. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah. Well, Hajj is the most. I mean, we forget Hajj is a big part of Eid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, is that something you've done already, or
No, I
Umrah or
haven't.
nothing?
No, I haven't.
Plan to?
It's expensive. Our
It is
friend just went like last year. One person, he said he spent $10,000 for one person. That's like all in though. To me,
Yeah.
I don't know. At this stage of life, $10,000 is a lot of money. Not saying that it shouldn't be prioritized and that you shouldn't still make an effort to do it. But
Well, I just read that I think this Eid, I think like almost 600 people died of like overheating. Like
yeah.
heat.
It's hot there,
Yeah.
like almost all year round
in
too.
Hajj.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And with all the people and
Yeah.
crowded. What's next?
I want to transition us into a little bit into you guys' backgrounds, like what you do professionally. So maybe Sohail, you can start us off about what you do.
just give us
Yeah.
basically just tell us what you do, your job title, and then just tell us like what does a day of Sohail look like at work?
So my official job title is electric operations engineer. So what I do is basically it's all real time. So like somebody hits a car pole, or we call it car pole, but somebody hits a pole with a car. Pole comes down. That's an emergency. You gotta like figure out how to isolate it, right? This is gonna be wires on the ground, sparks, so you gotta isolate it. Then there's planned work, and then there's other emergency work. Like stuff breaks all the time, heat wave, storm, there's rain. So handle all those emergency, pretty much just like operate the grid, kind of like you just manage the flow, or you just make sure the flow of electricity just continuously goes. A customer is always, there's a customer drop would mean like a customer loses power. Okay, he's a certain amount of outage hours, 2-3 hours, that's acceptable. You got to bring him back online, whatever it means. And a lot of these, like the the network is all a network, like everything's tied together. So some section goes down, you can isolate it, pick them up on another section. That's briefly what I do. Then there's some like planned
you can
work.
do all that from laptop?
All that from a laptop, yeah.
So there's not a physical switch you push up and down?
There is. Sometimes you have to. Like
really?
some switches, they don't have what's called SCADA, right? So you don't have remote capability to turn it on and off. You have to send somebody out there. They have to go physically open it or close it. Before, like, let's say wire, like 2 poles, somebody hits a pole, the 2 poles go down. The workers, the crew has to go. They have to like isolate it, go cut, the line on this side and cut it on the other side and isolate it. Now, some of the customers, they're going to be fine because they didn't get cut off, but the downstream ones, now they're out of power. So you pick them up a different way. So a lot of it's done remote on, through a laptop. I don't do the actual switching. We just tell them, hey, do this. And then the operators.
So you plan it out, you map it out,
Yeah.
they go and do like the operational side of it.
It's like, there's like, if you consider the operators as the air traffic controllers, tell you, okay, you can't go this way, they kind of direction. So you tell them, this is what you do, follow these steps, they go and they do it.
What's the biggest challenge?
When you get called like 3 a.m, when you're on call, and you get like a whole neighborhood that goes out, And you got to figure out how to pick them up. Middle of the
Mm.
night trying to do it. And then you got to do it fast too, right? Can't take 8 hours. Like, you got to get stuff out in like 30 minutes, 1 hour.
Are you on
So-
call during like the storm
Yeah,
seasons? and
storm
stuff?
season. Yeah, so it's like storm when it gets really bad rain, storm. You know, you got to be on call. You just sit there and
What
whatever.
area is yours?
All of like North Valley. So like Chico, Oroville, Orland.
Oh, so it's
That are
it's
all
away
North
from
Valley.
home.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
It's far
okay.
away.
Why you guys charge so much? I mean, the PG&E, man.
That's
electricity
above
is
my
just-
pay grade.
Keeps going up, man. You pay the electricity bill in your home?
No, I
So
don't.
you don't really
Yeah, I
care.
don't know. Yeah.
Tell us though, how much does it cost?
Oh no, I'm in the smut area. I'm happy, you know.
Is Smud cheaper than PG&E?
Absolutely,
Yeah, much cheaper. Yeah.
much cheaper.
But you gotta
Why?
also think because they're smaller and it's a non-profit too.
Yeah.
Mm.
PG&E is much larger and they're
Mm.
for-profit corporation.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know,
Part of SMUD used to be PG&E too.
Oh,
like-
okay.
They bought all that out from PG&E, so some of their stuff used to be PG&E system too.
how is that fair though? Because you're either SMUD or PG&E. That's kind of out of your control. But the difference in price seems like it's considerably noticeable.
Yeah, but I mean, nobody was asking those questions when they first came out providing electricity to people, right? They kind of just they were kind of let to be like kind of a giant that they are. I mean, what's the alternative?
Smud.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
No,
but
you know,
They're
I-
small. You said.
who's
right?
gonna build it? It's a
Maybe-
huge
maybe they
infrastructure.
can't-
It's
yeah,
like
maybe they
that's
can't
a
take
big
over.
system.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to go in a different direction, but on the topic, I remember when I was in college, one of the case studies we were learning is like some monopolies that are good and some that are bad.
Yeah.
At the time when I was reading the case study, it was talking about like the energy companies, and it was saying that it's a good monopoly
Yeah.
at the time. But I think we're gonna have to reconsider that.
I mean, if somehow the government regulates,
They
their
can't,
prices.
right? Because they try to regulate. I heard the energy company, and it like completely crashed the market. I can't tell you the exact details, but I remember reading about it that they try to put like a price ceiling on like the company itself
Yeah.
and how much they can charge, and apparently it was like really bad. But now, correct me if I'm wrong, they have like subsidy programs where low income households can get more affordable energy.
Yeah, there's for low income people there's stuff like that, but it's still regulated, quite heavily regulated actually. So
and it's a for-profit.
yeah,
So
all the utilities are any
Okay.
utility is gonna be regulated
Okay.
because they have to
SMUD.
Yeah, I like it.
SMUD too. They're still regulated too because they still have to.
Well, no,
Yeah.
the Tesla solar system people, they came in to give me a quote and design a thing for me. And then they were.
If you're comfortable, if you want to lean back, you can just. If you want,
yeah,
you
but
can do whatever you want.
I don't want to look like this the whole time.
It looked good on you.
Yeah. Yeah, so they came in, they did, let me see your bill the whole year, and they're like, bro, solar is not gonna save you money. SMUD is actually very cheap right now.
Nice.
But I am on top of my kids. Turn it off, and my wife is even worse. So we're pretty good. I try to save as much as I can.
That's good.
Yeah, pay attention to your time of use rates.
Yeah, yeah.
There's a time if you live in a SMUD area and PG&E area too. The time of day where you use electricity is different rates, So like your peak hours are from 5 to 8 in the summer. It's almost like triple the
5 to 8 p.m.
Yeah, 5 to 8 p.m. That's when most people get home. They start cooking, So you don't want to turn on your dishwasher, your washing machine. You want to do that stuff like at midnight or early in the morning.
What I want to know, what made you go into that? Huh?
Wait, before we do that, Attal, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Okay. So I consider myself a shopkeeper, to be honest with you. A shopkeeper, that's literally what I do. Yeah, it's a business, it's like it became a serious thing, there's money involved and everything. But the part that I like about it myself is just keeping the shop. Customers, and then bring random stuff and I display them, and then I look for my customers, see how they react to it when they see it. So how I got into tobacco business? By chance. Just was easy. The easiest business, you bring them, they come and they buy them.
The demand was high.
Well, it's a smoke shop, so, cigarettes is, people rather smoke a cigarette than buy food if they're really addicted.
And how long have you been in this business?
I started working since 2008. So a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, a long time. I worked with my brother, and then I worked for a very nice guy, Rocky. I worked for his store in 2 years. This guy, Rocky, amazing guy, man. Some people are stingy about information. Like even some professors, they know easy method, they just won't teach you. Rocky was not like that, He would sit me down and answer every question, where to buy it, why I'm buying it like this, or why I'm doing it like this. He was just an open book, and I'm so grateful to him, and he's actually my uncle's business partner right now. So I learned a lot from him.
Shout out Rocky.
Rocky's the man. I like that guy. He's a cool guy. He's involved in a lot of things.
I've worked at a shop too.
Yeah, you work at a shop?
Rocky shop too, yeah.
Yeah, but I've always been interested in business. Remember, how old were you?
Yeah, I was like 14, 15.
14, and I was 18. I decided to open a cart in the mall selling T-shirts.
Wow.
Yeah. Failed miserably, man. I didn't know how to price them. I didn't know how much to sell them. I was just... shut down in 3 months, but I learned a lot from it.
I bet.
Can I ask you, so at the time, when you started that business, were you just went into it just like, hey, I have an idea, I'm gonna just do it, and there was no planning involved? Or you tried to plan, but it just didn't work out?
No, when I say I'm a shopkeeper, ever since I was a kid, I would go to these shops and I'm like, damn, I really wanted this guy's life. I've always wanted to have a shop and then just have it, So a lot of people are like, hey, are you like, what is the word? I don't want to say it wrong. Entrepreneur or whatever.
Entrepreneur.
No. I legitimately love what I do, and that's shopkeeper. Not a businessman. I enjoy it so much. Ask me, if I'm not making money in my shop, would I still do it? 100%. I would still be. As long as I'm barely making it, I'll still be doing it. So I really, really enjoy being in like a shop and just go there every morning, prepare everything, and then just sit down and then let them come. And then my customers, man, we have some of the strangest conversations, and I love that part about it. Different people and have different things going on in their lives. Some of them are sick, some of them are in love, some of them are fighting, some of them are angry, some of them are broke. Some of them have too much money. They don't know what to do with it. And you just meet all type of people, and I love every second of it. I'm just interested. Some people I'm not interested in, when it's just I can't vibe with them. So then I just ignore them. And when they ask me questions, I'm like, yeah, that's good. I just say. But if I'm interested, oh, boy, I ask about how much they make, what does she look like, why this. I love that part.
Details.
Of it. Yeah.
Did shopkeeping help you to read people a lot better?
I know I was gonna say I'm not gonna share anything personal, but me and my wife, we play this game. We read people, and I would tell her what that person is or what that couple is, and then she would tell me. And it's them, and we sometimes we feel like we're 100% accurate because we'll follow them a little bit and see what they're doing, Well, not physically. We're just like, okay, so they ordered this or they did this. So I think, it did. Yeah. It did help me read people.
Because I think generally when you see and you talk to so many people, you see so many different characters, you realize that people are kind of a lot alike.
Yeah.
So you can start to pick them apart.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a added bonus of being a shopkeeper. But I like the way you put it, shopkeeper.
Yeah.
And I would describe him just like that too. Because his shop is always clean, pristine. Yeah. I think the reason why he likes it too is because, when you said shopkeeper, it's not like he said, oh, it's my business or my store. Shopkeeper, that means like he's taking care of
He's
it.
maintaining
Every
Yeah.
corner is clean. You know, it's like, you know, when you're a teenager, you get your first room. Like, you know, it's your room. It's shop. That's a good way to put
You
it.
know, I'm sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
I always, you know, when there's something going on in the shop, I'm like, you know, I'm the mother of the shop. I know everything. And then my brother is like, and I'm the dad, you know. Yeah. So yeah.
So is part of being a shopkeeper having to be the owner as well? Because that way you have full control over the shop and
Oh,
how it lays out.
Yes. So even though I say I'm a shopkeeper, it is a business, you know. So real money's coming in, real money's going out, and there's a lot of planning that goes into it, a lot of budgeting, and you know, it's just a small little shop, but the things you do is like if you know, it's just like any other business. You know, you got to watch what you're spending and where it's coming, taxes. So I learned a lot about bookkeeping. I learned a lot about taxes. I feel like I can do your taxes if I wanted to. I mean, if you let me, I can do also your viewers. You know, if, I'm available. I can set up entities. I know how to do those things. So anybody is like, hey, you know, I want to do this, or business entities. Obviously, I'm not really, I don't really know much about trusts and stuff like that, but I learned a lot.
Let me ask you a question
Yes.
then. LLC versus S corp. You're starting out a business. What's the way to go?
What type of business?
General retail, let's say.
Well, S corp is more of a how you want to be taxed, which is the same as how you're gonna get taxed as an LLC. But LLC is more of a it's a legal entity. It's like it's protected. So is obviously S corp, but it's just they're both taxed the same way. It's what they call it as a pass-through entity. So that means the business itself is not getting taxed. Whoever owns the entity is that all the gains and the losses are passed down to them, and they get taxed according to that.
So it provides protection to the owner of the business. Is that what it is?
Yeah. So both of them provide it. Both of them separates your personal assets from the business. So as long as you keep it that way, you're protected. But when you say protected, what do you mean?
Yeah, like financially, like if
Your personally,
yeah,
like they can't come after your personal assets unless they find a link. But
It's good for people that own stuff. You own a house, you own real estate, you know, you have like, you know.
LLC is good for real stuff.
Yeah.
Like property.
Tangible stuff, yeah.
Property. If you ever buy a property, you always you want to buy it under LLC.
Buy your personal property.
Not your personal.
Oh,
but like
okay.
if you're investing in properties, you want to buy it under LLC.
What's the reasoning?
It's protected better, and especially when you buy a property, it's most likely going to be a rental, and so, you know, so you're it's for protection.
I get it, because you're saying if you're buying property for business, not for personal use, give
By
it the
way,
business
let
protection.
me just say something. I'm not an expert. I just learned it
Call your
from
CPA.
from my accountant, customers, and stuff like that. You know, don't be
No, he's being humble. He's being humble.
No, for real.
No, I'm joking.
But why are you trying to do S corp or LLC?
I recently opened one, and I did like a bunch of research too. But so I was trying to get like your.
Which way? What did you go with?
I went with the LLC.
LLC.
The reason why I went with the LLC was because the cool thing is, especially, this is like a fun fact that I guess I can think of off the top of my head, but at the end of the year, after your first year of business, you can go to your accountant and they can do your taxes. And if they say that you can save more money or be protected in any type of way from your S corp, from an S corp better than an LLC, you can retroactively date when you began to become an S corp. So you'll be taxed as an S corp even though you were an LLC. But if you start as an S corp, you can't go and be taxed as an LLC. So I took the safe route.
But they're both taxed the same way.
I think they're taxed differently. Actually, I'm positive they're taxed differently.
the businesses. Well, maybe I might be wrong. So the way it is, okay. The two corps, okay, the C corp and the S corp, okay. The C corp, which a lot of the big companies prefer, it's it's like if you have more than it's a big company, okay, you want to go public. C corp, let's say you do revenue, okay, and then all of your expenses and then your profits, okay. That profit is taxed at a corporate tax rate. I think it's like 25% right now. So the business itself is being taxed, okay? S corp, whatever is left at the bottom is passed down to you as a shareholder, and then then you pay tax based on where you fall. So the S corp really never really does pay any taxes other than the $800 minimum that you pay to the state.
Yeah, I think one of the differences.
I think that's how I understand
that
it.
the legal entity between the LLC and S corp is the same thing. The only difference is that the S corp changes its when you turn your LLC into an S corp, it just changes just changes the way you're taxed. I think.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's it. That's all it changes. But you're still an LLC actually.
Yeah.
You're still an
are.
LLC, but you're just taxed as an S corp.
I think there's more like filing paperwork with it too.
White people, man, they have figured out.
Oh yeah, you gotta have meeting minutes and a certain amount of more regulation stuff.
Yeah. LLC.
I heard you're more protected. There's less risk of audits and stuff too for S corps than an LLC.
Really?
Well, let me ask you guys. So, I know you also run some side businesses on top of your corporate professional job. Would you, and this goes for both of you guys can take turns answering it. You took the college route, degree, job. Yeah. You took right at 18, you started your business.
I have masters in forensic science.
He says.
I do.
Yeah.
Oh, for real?
Yeah.
You didn't know that?
No, I had no idea.
Yeah.
Okay, well, then I'll go back to you.
Wait, what year did you graduate?
From high school or college?
College.
Last year.
I don't know. Sohail's pulling.
No,
is he being an accomplice? Are you being an
I'm
accomplice?
just thinking about my story.
If you guys are wondering what's going on, we're trying to figure out if he's telling the truth or not.
He's a tough guy to read.
No, but I did go to college for a very long time.
Oh, you did?
Oh yeah, 5 years, 6 years. I studied so many different things. I should have finished, but anyway, go ahead.
Well, that was going to be my question is if you went back, would you just not go the college route at all and just start your business from there? And then for you, when it gets to you, would you go back, finish college, and then start your business, or are you guys happy exactly with the way it is?
I think I wouldn't change it because I think college is good in a few ways and in other ways too. I think if I were to go back, I would take more risks. So like I would try to do business. I would try to do every other thing I could do, because when you're young, that's when you can afford it, right? When I afford it, by that I mean like you got the time and you got the energy, the money. The money is not the issue, but take more risks, right? You got the time. The older you get, the more you prolong it. It's you can't be as risky. Right?
Take more risks.
Yeah. Even right now, I mean, it's never too late. But I was just saying to those out there.
So you'd start your entrepreneurial side hustles earlier.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
What about you, Attal?
I would have. I should have gone to a trade school. Carpentry. Have you seen my table? Right.
Yeah. We made a table together. Remember the shelf we made?
Oh yeah, we made some good shelf. Yeah, I should have done a trade school.
Did you recently make that table?
No, I made it 5-6 years ago.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And you're into that? I was gonna ask for a picture. I was interested, but if it's not recent,
I
it's
can
probably
vouch
hard
for
to
it.
find.
He's not only made.
No, I believe him. I just wanted to see it.
I can just text my wife and send a picture of my table. That table looks beautiful. Yeah. No, I should. Because school was not for me.
Yeah.
I would be. I remember just listening to the teacher for the first 5 minutes. I'm all in. I understand everything, and then 5 minutes into the lecture, I'm like, I wonder why he's writing his eyes like that. And then from there, one thought into another thought. And before I know it, the whole class was done, and I'm like, what the hell? I haven't taken notes, and I look at my notebook, it's just a bunch of drawings and stuff like that. So if my mind worked differently, obviously I would have liked to have a degree and stuff like that. But I think I should have from the get-go gone to a trade school, framing or carpentry would have been the best choice for me.
How important is it for people to play towards their strengths, and like how can someone find their strength so that they can just go towards that?
To be honest with you, I think the most important thing, any person that just like is starting to make it out into the world, is know how to be a critical thinker. So as long as you can whatever decision you're making, weigh the good and the bad. I think your strength will. I don't know how much of if somebody's good at math, that's his strength. Like how big of a role does it play in decision making? Because decision making is probably like the most important thing. So I think, and that's what I think school really provides, makes you think. Like people, when you talk to educated people, they really think about what you're asking them because they're comparing like what is being asked, and so. That's why I miss school, man. I just wish I had, but...
You could always go back.
Yeah, that's true.
You could always go
back.
back.
Study?
Whatever.
Remember what you told them earlier? Like,
Forensic
you're still a
science.
baby.
Yeah.
You could take risks.
Yeah, but now I have different interests. I would love to be a farmer. I would love to learn everything about ground and growing food and I like to do things
They have
physically.
that. They have. You could take
Hands-on.
agriculture.
Hands-on, that's why I ask him all the time, what do you do? And he's like, I do this, I facilitate my team. I'm like, but what do you make?
yeah. I know what you mean. I totally get it.
Yeah.
You're a hands-on type of guy. Something tangible has to be,
Yeah, it's just like retail, like you bring something,
You bring a product.
price it up a little bit, and then you sell it, Like the rest of this stuff, I just don't understand.
Most people are like, when you tell them you're in professional services or consulting, they're like, what the heck do you do?
Yeah.
That's the same. That's probably why.
And I'm wondering if you guys really even know what you guys are doing. Because, if you can't answer, like, oh, it's a little bit more complicated and this and that, and it's like, really? How complicated is it? Is that a cat over there, man? Because I keep hearing it.
Yeah, I hear something too. No, I think
Oh, man, I think it's the pressure from the air.
the AC or something.
I don't know.
Probably. I don't know. Our job is different. Honestly, I would look at our job somewhat in the same lens as a business owner. Just because there's a lot of different tasks. I can't pinpoint one thing and say this is what I do consistently throughout the whole year. Because it just changes. It changes. Just think of a project and being there from beginning to end. Like, you do different things at different points in the project. And being on that project. What did I say?
By the way, what you guys are doing is amazing. I'm really, I think, a lot of the community, I'm lucky to have you guys. Okay. You, mashallah, organizer. It seems like you're the leader, like basketball and stuff, and you involved in a lot of things. That's really nice, man. I just want to say I'm proud of you guys.
Thank you, bro.
Yeah, all of these, I call you boys, like, or that generation, the Davis generation. All of you are in Davis, aren't you? Like, you guys are just all.
It just feels like it. It feels like everyone that's our age went to Davis.
Yeah, but I haven't met any of them, like when I said them, I meant like your whole crew. Every single one of them is nice, polite. They have their cultural thing going, and they're speak very good. Like I love that. I love seeing that, and I hope my kids, my kids are inshallah like that too.
Inshallah,
A lot of my family members, like when they meet like all my friends and stuff, they say the same thing. They're like, you guys, like all your friends, like mashallah, they're so respectful, nice guys, and it's a blessing to have these people around us. Yeah,
but you guys are keeping a very good balance of like showing your identity of who you are, like Afghan events and cultural day and all of those things.
Yeah.
Our days, man, it's like what is he doing? know.
I mean, that's kind of the reason why we started this, is because we know and we're being real that life in America as an Afghan it's not the same, and you can't replicate it as life in Afghanistan. So even the most traditional Afghan you'll meet, they adapt in some way to the American lifestyle.
Oh yeah.
So in that sense, like, I think that's okay. I think sometimes Afghans look down upon that, like kind of what you said, like what is he doing? But I think we have to embrace it and, like, you know, kind of adapt a good lifestyle around that. And having some Western values is not a bad thing. I think
There's a lot of good things from here that we can pick up.
Oh yeah, no, you have to get.
I mean, there's a reason why we're living here, right?
Right, right.
What is the word? You know, my English is not that good. Assimilate or
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to, and yet you know, keeping that identity, you know, because otherwise you're neither living there or here. If you refuse to go with the lifestyle over here, and you're like, no, I'm Afghan, this is how I do things, then, but you're not doing it in Afghanistan, so you're not living what this culture has to offer. Neither are you living what Afghan culture have to offer. So you're just living in a like nowhere, you know, basically. Yeah. So you got to have a nice little balance, you know. I think it's important. A lot of the OGs, they have a hard time, you know. From back in day in New York, they still wear their sadri and, you know, and their stuff like that. But they're survivors, man. They survived it. They're still living 40, 50 years, but don't speak a word of English.
But I think that's fine though. Like even if they're OGs and they still wear that, because that's like a sense of comfort for them too. Because they're clinging on to what they have. They can't fully assimilate because they spent 20, 30 years.
Yeah, but are they really living though?
They are.
I mean,
how can we tell that they're not?
It's hard. It's hard for them. Like the OGs, it's hard for them to assimilate. You know, they're so ingrained into that culture. I mean, it's easy for us. I mean, you were 15, you were 10. You know, I was very young. He was born here.
You were born here?
No, he was.
What about you?
I was 4 when I moved here. So very easy for us to. It wasn't even assimilation. It was just natural, you know. No. But for them to make like a focus to assimilate, that's tough.
But there is for me, and I've talked to a few people, and they've all had very similar experiences. 3 months into it, when you come to America, there's this depression. There's this dark cloud that hits you. And it's the most disgusting feeling, you know, because you start to miss your old friends, you know, the language you don't understand, how, you know, there's a lot of things going on. And then I remember, man, getting depressed. And then obviously school started, and then you start making friends and you start to speak a little bit. But that depression is a real thing. When people come, like the first 2-3 months, it's, I mean, I'm not sure if you felt it, but like, whenever I brought this subject up to people that came that were my age, they've all experienced that. It's like, yeah, like a couple of months into it, there's this dark clouds, like you start to miss your whole life, like back at home, you know, like your friends and your whole routine and stuff like that. So I did go through that, you know. It was like, you know, I'll be thinking like, damn, my friends are right now starting their tournament or cricket tournament, or now the school is starting, all of those feelings. But it goes away like that as soon as, you know, it's just lasts for maybe a month or so, but it's a really, really dark feeling, man. It's just, you feel suffocated.
What about you, Sohail?
Same, yeah, because when he said about the school, like, oh, my friends, oh, they're because back then it was like you're progressing in grades. That was like, you know, the thing. I remember thinking like, oh yeah, they're going to this grade next, or they're going to this grade next. I do remember that. It's like, you know, the little bit of, you know, like they're just unseen, or like you're.
But you were 10, huh?
Yeah,
so
I was, but yeah, I still remember. I still remember that thought exactly. That, oh, my friends are going to this grade next, because I remember what grade I was in, what grade I was supposed to go in. So I'm thinking about my friends, you know. Then your cousins, your family. So you think, yeah, there's, you know, well, more than that.
Yeah. But ask them, like, if you guys bring some new Afghans in, or any Afghans that came around age, you know, I would love to know, like, how many people really felt that, you know? Like, this is probably, like, maybe the 4th or 5th time I've really shared that. Like, hey, 3 months into it, and then every single is like, bro, I went through the same exact thing. I wonder how many people really go through that, you know?
I think you're right. I think a lot of people go through that. One of my cousins, when he came here, in the first few months, he would just talk about how he's just gonna come here, study, and leave. Because obviously he didn't like it. So he was used to and accustomed to the people there, the culture there, everything. So he was just like, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go back. He still talked on the phone with all his friends and stuff. It makes sense. You don't have connections here. You don't have people here. You're not accustomed to the culture yet. So that's how you're gonna feel. And I remember I used to tell him, bro, just wait another year, and then we'll see if you'll want to go back or not. And yeah, now I mess with him sometimes. I'm like, hey, you still want to go back? And we're like, nah. But I think you're right. I think you're right.
Once you get used to the comfort life, it's so hard to go back.
It's a lot like when I was young. I used to switch schools. My family would move around a lot. I think a lot of immigrants have this same story. Yeah. Every time you come to a new school, you're like, man, I miss my old school, my old friends. You hate it. There's that slight depression. But then, one semester in, you have a friend, you know people, the teachers a little bit.
And you forgot about it.
And you're just vibing. Yeah. It's all good. It's all over.
Yeah. And, that's just for you came in as a teenager, as a kid. Now imagine that as an adult, right? Because my opinion, America is a very complicated and complex lifestyle compared to other countries, which live very simple lives. So now imagine that same experience. And I want to know too, so hopefully if we ever do get someone on who came here as an adult, I'd love to find out, but how that experience is coming in as an adult. Because you have to adapt, you have to know all these different utility companies, what bills are, what a bank is, checking accounts, saving accounts, credit cards, buying a car,
retirement funds.
Yeah,
and also I think depends on and under what circumstances they really came. We came because my dad was here, it sponsored us, so we were already living mashallah, a very good life over there. Dollar into, a few $100s over there is a lot of money. But let's say you're running away from a war, and you've been living in a refugee camp, or you live in some, temporarily in this country, that country, and you finally make it to America. I don't think depression is going to hit you that much, I think it's I made it. I think you might feel relief.
At that point, yeah, but they probably were depressed all that time before.
I'm sure, yeah. But I think most OGs, they're relieved. They're like, Pakistan
They let out a sigh of relief.
But mentally, OGs, man, the old school people, they're much stronger, man. They can endure a lot more than any of us can even imagine. Yeah, you're right. Don't speak English. How to the whole system.
I mean, people even struggle with that system that were born here,
Man, I have another crazy story about the system, okay? And I wish, man, that you guys would teach this, okay? How to use a credit card, okay? When I first got my credit card, I didn't know how to use it. I didn't know how it worked, okay? I went and opened up my first bank account, and they're like, hey, you qualify for a credit card. Would you like it? I was like, of course I would. MasterCard? What is it? I'm gonna put it in my wallet. So and they gave me I don't know, 7,000 something limit. Okay. So my thought was, I'm supposed to spend all of that money, and then later we're gonna figure out how I'm gonna pay them. Okay. I'm not making minimum payments. None of that stuff. Okay. I'm using it, I'm like, oh, I have credit card, and then one day it declined, and I'm so mad. I called them up hey, I have this much money in the credit card, and it declined. They're like, yeah, but you're not making a payment. I was like, I know I'm not making a payment because I still have this much money left, And they're like, no, that's not how it works. So you're supposed to at least make your minimum payment, for us to continue the cycle going, So I learned that, man, when I was 18. And I had already been in the country for 4 years. So imagine,
I think as immigrants, we learn lessons by messing up.
Yeah.
A lot. It's trial by error every time we have to, because there's nobody there to just give that to us.
Do you know how to use a credit card?
Alhamdulillah, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Do you have any debt on there? Money balances.
No, I hate keeping a running balance. I try
Good.
to pay it off every month.
Good.
Yeah.
That's the best way to use it.
Yeah.
Get all the benefits, all the points,
Get
and
the points
everything.
everything. Yeah.
Yeah, a 30-day free ride.
I had a good friend of mine who, as soon as we graduated, I think he worked at a bank, and I was just hanging out at his house once, and he's like, "Hey man, like, look, I'm learning about all this stuff. I just got a credit card, you know, because he was in a bank. He knew that having a credit score is so important, good credit. He's like, you should get one. I was like, okay. That day I applied for one, and he told me about it. So it's always good to have somebody, you know.
Yeah.
I didn't have to learn by mistake, you know. So
Yeah, no, man.
speaking of this, actually, this is a great time to transition us, because you know, throughout your journey, college journey, finding a job at a good company, you probably made so many mistakes throughout your, you know, business.
Mm-hmm.
I want both of you guys to maybe give me 1 or 2 lessons that you learned by making mistakes, and that you could go back and, you know, you wish you knew it, and somebody can pick that up now without having to make that mistake.
In business?
Sure.
Never get into a partnership, especially if you really love your good friends. Partnerships ruin the greatest relationships, you know. So I think I would, if anybody like, hey, let's go into a partner, especially you guys are good friends and you guys can't afford to lose each other, I will never do it.
So basically, the famous saying, "Don't do business with friends and family."
Exactly. And everybody's like, oh, that's just them. We're not like that because we're different. Remember, we shared this history. Bad idea. Do it yourself. If you don't have money, borrow it. But partnership, somebody always gets hurt. And it's like, and it's over money. So there's like, my mistake. I mean, if anybody is like, hey, what you wouldn't do, partnership. I would never do partnership again. I'd rather wait and do it alone, or I would rather help someone start something and not be attached to it, rather than, you know, try to become a partner. Like, you know what, I'll become your partner and I'll be silent, or I'll be this, especially if they're your friends. But obviously, 2 business partners can become friends, but 2 friends can never become business partners without, you know, having it stay like that forever. Even, I mean, brothers are probably a little bit different because, you know, you guys can fight it out and you guys still have to love each other. But friends, you know, that can really go separate ways, bad idea. Bad idea.
Sohail?
I mean, this is what I said earlier, you know, just take more risk. Like, scared money don't make money, you know? Take risk. Because
I'm proud of this guy.
You gotta take risks.
This guy is the real man. This guy, mashallah,
He just hyping me up.
No, for real, man. I've told you this so many times. This guy is like, when you think of a man, this guy is it. You know,
Appreciate
you know,
Mashallah.
mashallah, like, you know, the way he takes care of his situation, his family, and his brothers and everything. So much patience, mashallah, man. You know, I love you for that. You know that, right?
Brother,
Yeah, man, mashallah. He's good. I love this guy.
I can attest to that as well.
Yeah. By the way, man, you guys should put our video.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was, how old were you?
I was like 15.
15, and I was,
You were in your teens, man. You were like 18, 19.
I was 18, 19. We have a music video back in
On YouTube.
2005 or 6, when YouTube was barely, we have a music video.
Yeah, we definitely got to get the link for that.
If you give us, we'll try to put it up right now.
Right there.
Right there,
It's
man.
called Afghan Numa.
Yeah.
We'll do it during the when we post this episode.
Hey, by the way, me and him are starting our own podcast.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
We'll be your first guest.
No. We're not doing much of a guest or stuff like that. We're actually gonna charge people to say things that they won't say.
Exactly. Pay us. We'll say it.
We'll say it for you, and we can say that we'll say the most controversial stuff that people are too afraid to say it.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
What would be
Okay.
the example of this?
Yeah, we'd love
give me an example.
something now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, put me on the spot.
Well, if you have an
So-
idea, you can go too.
Yeah. Why don't we hear from you? I feel like I'm getting controversial vibes from you right now.
Oh,
It's
you have
like-
no idea how much I'm controlling myself throughout the whole time when you guys are talking. Things are popping in my head. I'm like, Attals, they're gonna be watching, you know. Relax. But somebody's gotta say it. Go ahead, say
All
it.
right.
Say it.
Like
He's throwing him under the bus.
America or the Taliban? Who really won?
Who won the war?
Good
Somebody's got to
question.
ask it.
Good question. Who's gonna answer it?
That shift and
By the
change in
way,
mind.
I'm so sorry. You really went deep into that one, didn't you? Okay. I was gonna say like, hey, you can say what you wanna say, but fat girls are not good looking. You know, that's the kind of thing. Have you seen Miss Alabama? Oh man.
Oh, but
It's,
Miss
it's
Miss
Miss
Alabama.
Alabama?
Oh no, Miss Tennessee, one of those Mississippi. This is a cow, bro. This bro, man, and she, I mean, God bless her, you know, God made her, but I mean, she's not a prize-winning,
No, but
bull
hold
right
on.
there.
There's a tribe in Africa.
Mm.
I think there's an Arab tribe. The men prefer the women be overweight rather than skinny. It's a legit thing.
Yeah, beauty standards are
Yeah.
different all over the world.
They'll get overfed, so that
The women, they prefer the women being big.
to be big. Yes.
Mm.
Yeah.
And there are guys that are like, oh, how do you like your woman? I was like, fat. That's what's fat. Like I want something to hold on to. Literally, that's exactly what they'll say. He's like, I don't want to feel bone. You know. He's like, I want some.
Yeah, that makes
It's like it
sense.
feels
I can
nice
see
when you
it.
touch. Yeah,
I
that's
can see
exactly.
it.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, this woman is.
Okay, we know Attal got beef with Miss Tennessee or Miss Mississippi, one of them.
No. That's the type of stuff we're gonna talk about.
Oh, okay.
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 We're gonna say the things that you're all thinking, you know, like if you're
Okay.
thinking about it, but you're like, no, I shouldn't say it. You know?
It's like, you know what they're saying right now. Let your intrusive thoughts win, or whatever it is.
Yeah,
What do they say?
yeah. Your
Yeah,
intrusive
yeah.
thoughts.
That's you know, you guys should give us some ideas, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll send some or some comments in.
Yeah. Do you think you will pay for something you want to be said, but you can't really say it?
Maybe
we'll say it for you. $5, man.
Maybe. I don't think
$5?
it's a bad
$5.
idea.
Yeah.
You could do that right now.
Yeah. Yeah. What give me $5 and I will say,
whatever
write
you
it
want.
down. I'll
Okay.
say it for you.
Just because we're short on time, I'm gonna go back to the last topic.
My bad.
But we could talk about this offline. So what I was going with the question is, I've noticed a change in the Afghan community, especially amongst men, about how they feel toward Donald Trump, and the elections are coming up. So I want to know, just we'll dive deeper, but I just want to know, who are you guys voting for?
I'm a Donald Trump fan. I will vote for Donald Trump. I voted for him last time.
Okay.
I'm voting for him this time.
So you've been on that bandwagon early.
Not really. I did voted for Hillary Clinton. Okay, and that was my first election. And I became citizen, so I was really, really excited, being all a Democrat and stuff like that. But then, you know, when Donald Trump won, it was kind of like, damn, I don't know what's gonna happen. But like 2 years into it, you know, I every morning I open my bank account and be like, yeah, Daddy Trump, you're doing it, you know. It was a good time.
He's good for business.
It's good. It was good for everything.
For
He was
everything, yeah.
he was stopping wars. He was the only thing he was, poor guy, was just talking too much. You know, like he needed to keep it quiet.
Yeah.
Who
for
you
Trump
vote?
too?
Trump?
Yeah.
Okay. So you
'Cause-
you gave us
yeah.
your reason why.
I think because a vote for Trump is not a vote for Biden, right? And that guy's just been Sleepy Joe the last 4 years. I can't stand another 4 years with this guy.
Yeah, I mean, did you guys see
Yeah.
he pooped in his
Yeah.
pants, right? His wife got fed up.
It's a
He's like, bro,
joke.
I just cleaned you, you know? There's a video. I mean, it's a conspiracy theory.
That's crazy. I didn't know about that.
Yeah.
No, I know you said it the other day. You kind of more of a you're a Democrat, right?
No, I mean I wouldn't pick a side.
Have you ever voted?
No.
Local, national, nothing?
Nothing.
Have you?
You
No,
guys should
I-
vote.
The reason why I don't vote is because I feel like I'm reserving my vote until like I find someone that I really want to vote for.
I'm kind of on the same boat. I just don't. I don't know. I don't know if you're just supposed to vote for like
The lesser of two
Yeah,
evils.
but you
or
know,
not.
it's not just the election for the president. That's like a small. There's like bigger things where you live that impact you, your kids, your family.
That
your
I get.
community. This is what you gotta vote for.
Community.
They make this president, this voting like a very big deal. Okay, it should be, but you have a lot of other stuff you can vote on. So that right you have to vote, exercise it. Everybody.
yeah.
I feel like with everything going on now, like if there's like votes for inshallah, like when I'm older and maybe I have kids, I feel like I might be involved in votes for like the council for like the
Yeah,
education
why
and
not?
stuff, like because we have to be represented on that board too.
Absolutely.
I feel like that definitely hits closer to home than the.
Yeah, but voting is so important. Okay, even though you might feel like it didn't make much of a difference, one vote and everything. But when they do these researches, exit polls or whatever they do, they see who voted. Okay, so let's say you're from a community. Let's say Vietnamese communities is not really big on the voting scene. Okay, and now there's a problem in the Vietnamese community. Are politicians really gonna take them serious? No. They're going to be like, how many of them voted? They're like, oh, none of them voted. They'll be like, okay, we'll let somewhere else deal with this situation. But then now, let's say the Armenian community is big time voting, and they have some sort of issue that they want to be solved. Everybody's like, hey, I'm here for you. What do you want? Just like right now, all those Palestine, right?
Yeah.
Are the Arabs voting? I don't think they're voting that much, especially Michigan and all of those states. But they control Minnesota and Michigan, Imagine everybody voted. Now they're going to have to listen, but like, you know what, we can't just bash them, or ignore them because they're actually voting bodies, and they will decide.
I think that was one of the problems that happened in like Michigan is that they are like a good chunk of the vote. So they could, sway the vote one way or another. But for them, it was like whoever we vote for, neither of them are going to do what we want. Neither Trump nor Biden is going to call for a ceasefire.
But right now they won't. But what about when your kids are living this? Okay, because you got to make it a practice.
Yeah.
You got to make it. You can't just think about right now. You have to, unless everybody's like, you know what, I'm living here for a little bit and then I'm going back, which none of us are ever gonna go back. This is we're here. We're gonna be here forever. So I think it's you start, let it be counted slowly but surely. Eventually, they're gonna start paying attention. Like, hey, these people vote, so we better listen to what they're saying.
Let's address their issues because they actually make an impact.
Yeah,
in keeping us in office.
Especially when you start organize. If we're a big community and we start organizing campaign or donations, like, hey, we'll donate to your campaign and stuff like that. Even if it's like small amount, they'll be like, you know what? These people are actually trying to be active, they're going to pay attention.
Yeah, and you could have Afghan politicians. Like, we don't know of any Afghans that have gone into politics, council, mayor, whatever.
Yeah.
It's going to happen one day.
One day.
Elk Grove. I mean, right now, our mayor is Indian.
Yeah.
She's doing a great job, by the way. I like her.
It's
Yeah,
Bobby Singh, right?
Bobby Singh, yeah, she's pretty cool.
So now let me phrase it in a different way. Which president, or you could let's do a party. Which party is better for Afghans in your eyes, the Democrats or the Republicans?
I know where you're going with this, and as we were talking, I know what exactly I need to say to this. Okay, but that'll be at the end. They're both good, man. It doesn't matter the presidency, I don't think so.
No, I'm not talking about the presidency. I'm talking about in general, right? Because think about the party, which includes the president. Think of the Senate. Think of the House. Which one would benefit the Afghans more?
Republicans.
Yeah,
Republicans.
I agree. Because I think...
Are you saying this?
You have commonality because they're a little bit conservative.
Yeah.
And that's what we are.
Right.
We're neither Republican or Democrat. We're conservative at the deeper of the issue.
So you're saying because we share the same values,
Yeah, that's how
they
better,
would be better.
Not just for Afghans, but Muslims in general.
Yeah.
Right?
Go ahead.
What do you
Go
think?
ahead. I got something
I
to
made
say
a-
too, but go ahead.
I was agreeing with you till you went to the part with Muslims, because I feel like what's going on right now, I don't think that the Republicans are really siding with the Muslims.
Is it
With
because they're not getting the Muslim vote? The Muslim vote is blindly going to the Democrats.
Yeah.
Which is because throughout, like, so I'm kind of, let me give you guys my background with this. I've always kind of agreed with what you just said, like conservative makes sense, you know. Until like the last year, I've realized that Republicans definitely have like there's definitely like a racist undertone in that party. I like their fiscal like policies, and I like their conservative values. I like all that.
Mm-hmm.
But there's definitely like a racist undertone in the party. Like in one of Trump's rallies, a Muslim lady in a hijab came, and in her shirt it said, "Salam, I come in peace." They literally made her leave the rally, and everybody was chanting and clapping, like, "Let's go!" You know, like they were happy. You know,
Yeah.
and then you look at who right now is protecting, like who I know it's definitely not the whole Democratic Party, right? It might just be like maybe 20-30% that's calling for a ceasefire.
Yeah.
But that's 20-30% in that party. You're not seeing it in the Republicans. So I mean, I'm personally going through this dilemma now myself as well, because I've always kind of been on that thought process that you had, but now I'm seeing this, and it's just like, are they really there for us?
So let me hit you with an example, okay? I agree with what you said, but the Democrats accept everybody. They're not accepting you because you're Muslim and because, you know, they share your values. They're accepting everybody. And I think what that means. I agree that at a Trump rally, somebody did that. It's right. That's wrong of them to do that, even though, you know, she came, whether she had her T-shirt on, whatever. I haven't seen the video, but they're not all like that. You know, right? If we say that, then we're making a big judgment on them, just like how those people made a judgment that lady, right?
Yeah.
So to have like the better doubt. So I would rather side with the group that I share some commonality with than side with the group that's going to be a threat to me, for me and my kids and those around me, and for what I believe in the days to come.
Well,
Right.
I mean, even amongst the Democrat Party, there are conservative parts in them. You know, it's not like everyone in the Democrat Party is pushing for.
There's like the
one way.
super progressives, and then there's like the middle.
But you could say the same thing about the Republicans too.
I mean, I can't though. I haven't seen
Republicans
one.
are not calling for a ceasefire at all.
I haven't heard one
Yeah.
Republican House speaker.
But have you guys wondered why?
No. Tell me why.
It's all money. It's all money. You know, almost. You know, do you know how much weapons they've been selling to Israel
Yeah.
through U.S. tax dollars? You know, benefiting all these companies, and these companies are the one funding these campaigns and stuff like that. I don't think there's a Republican looking at these videos of these Israelis, you know, just murdering these kids, women. Just, I don't think they like seeing that. Do you think they're going home and like, hell yeah, we killed some Muslims today? No, they have to. They have to, man. They were taken. They are where they are because of the money provided by these companies, and these companies need these conflicts to make money. It's all money game, man, to be honest with you.
I agree with you in that standpoint. I do agree with you. I think a lot of politics is simply that, because a lot of these politicians have to filter what they say. They can't speak fully how they feel on a certain situation. But I mean, on this particular situation, even for Democrats, it's not a good thing for them to speak out against Israel, because this whole situation is kind of a bipartisan kind of agreement to support Israel because they've been an important ally. But what we're seeing is from the two parties, some of the from one party is going against the norm, going against the traditional way of just turning a blind eye and just taking the money, or doing whatever is the popular opinion. So in my eyes right now, like for me, that's the most dire and important situation at the moment. I'm not thinking about 50 years from now, and I know you guys are looking at it from that lens, and you're not wrong. But for the current situation we're in, like in the world, I would say that the Democratic Party is a better choice for Muslims today.
But
one thing to keep in mind, this whole Palestinian, Israel, and that whole area, okay, that situation is not new. Okay, that area has always been a mess.
It has been, but it's never been portrayed in, or it's never been like this publicly, and no one's been this aware of it, right? And that's all thanks to social media, right?
Yeah.
So now that everyone knows what's going on, right, and it's hard to just kind of ignore that and say like, no, we still support you even though you're doing this, because you said the money, right? But at the same time, you have to show some sort of compassion.
Yep.
You have to show some kind of heart, and it can't just be about the money, especially to the people that are voting for you, because they're not looking at it from the money standpoint. They're looking at it from like, hey, this innocent person, this innocent child just died. What do you mean you're still supporting them no matter what, you know?
So, but the Democrats have control right now. How come they vetoed every ceasefire?
Yeah.
They had a chance, and the election's coming around the corner.
But yeah, but that's
the Senate is theirs.
No,
the presidency is theirs.
That's not what I said, though. I didn't say that all Democrats are against the ceasefire. I'm saying of the party, they're the only ones that are showing some sort of.
There's a sizable portion that actually is for ceasefire, whereas the other side doesn't have that.
Yeah, but if now, right, we're talking about the Michigan, right? If they get enough voters and they kick this person out of the White House, maybe the other party will notice that, hey, that it's actually a force to be reckoned with. Since, okay, this party, they've vetoed all these ceasefires, they haven't done anything, why are we voting for them?
Okay, let me bring up a really good topic that a lot of like Muslim political analysts have been talking about Michigan, because it's actually a big thing, okay? So right now you just said if they kick Biden out to prove that, we can do this. Yeah. And so maybe the other party, when they come in power, they kind of appease them more. But then his point is also valid, where if you don't vote, they're not going to cater to you. So now if they don't vote for Biden, right, the next election, the Democrats are not going to cater to them either. So it's a paradox. It's a tough situation. It's a very tough situation. It's so tough that political analysts are sitting down and scratching their head over it.
That makes sense. Do you understand what he's saying?
Yeah, but so what are you gonna do? Not vote?
That's the point. That's why we're having this discussion right now, because it's a legitimate question that we're asking ourselves. Right? We said we're not voting because we really don't know what to do.
Modern
it's so
day
tough.
Chicken or egg situation.
It's so tough.
But you can't let that just like let you. You can't just stagnate and just be like, oh, well, I'm gonna wonder if I'm gonna vote or not. A vote still needs to be made. You know. So if you don't give for the Democrats, right, and if you don't vote at all, then you might as well just put it.
My personal opinion is, like, if I vote for Biden and he's still sending bombs that's being dropped in Gaza, I will never be okay with that. And if I vote for Trump and he's doing the same thing, I will never be okay with that. I'll feel better having known that my vote never went to the person who committed this. And I know they're both going to do it.
Yeah.
Do you know that for certain?
Are you trying to make the case that Trump is not going to do that?
You can never forecast this.
Everything,
the future.
All the evidence points to that he wants peace.
Is that why he moved the capital to Jerusalem when they knew that this would be the biggest block to peace?
Why? How is that the biggest block to peace? Because
the whole fight, this whole Palestinian-Israeli conflict, the main crux of it, obviously there's a lot to it, but like it's Jerusalem.
Mm-hmm.
That's why in the beginning they made a whole point to keep the capital away from Jerusalem, Tel Aviv, keep the Palestinians away and have them share Jerusalem. But if you give one of them capital as Jerusalem, then you're already picking sides. You're making it harder for a way towards peace. So that's what I'm saying. It's a paradox. You know, it's tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I still say vetoing how many 3, 4, 5 ceasefires, that's worse than Trump moving the U.S.
Okay,
embassy.
Yeah,
Let me
because
ask
we
you-
don't know what
Yeah.
Trump would have done to be honest.
Yeah.
We
Because
don't know what he
but-
would have done. He
but-
wasn't in that position, and we can't
But
tell.
he did take the troops out, right? He ended one war.
he
Yeah.
did.
He took them
He
out
did.
after 20
Yeah.
years.
You give him
Yeah.
credit
Right?
for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're not,
so-
we're not like, at least I'll speak for myself. I'm not anti-Trump or super anti anyone. The point is about this. In this scenario, it's tough. You know what I mean? I like that. I like what Trump did with leaving Afghanistan. You know,
Yeah.
I think it was time. It was
Yeah.
meant to be. How much longer were they going to stay? What were they even doing there? And then again, as soon as they left, that government collapsed. So that means they didn't build something sustainable there to begin with. So it was a waste of time. Great job on that. You as a business owner, right? The dollar sign started going up in your bank
More-
account under Trump.
Yeah. The morals in the people's mind.
Yeah.
You know, everybody was just
So
happy and
that's
spending.
good too, right? But then there's like all these pros and cons to it, right? So
I don't see any cons in Trump's presidency, to be honest with you. I didn't see it. I mean, what did he do that was wrong? Nothing, you know, and his base, okay? His base is all... maybe I will cut this part out because I don't want to say what his base is because, you know, that's my customers, bro.
Okay, I'll give you one thing that we could all relate to. Yeah, when he first came in, he did the Muslim travel ban. You think that was a good thing?
I was actually kind of happy with it. Okay, because to be honest with you,
no, I want to hear your music.
you know, like
I'm sure
some of these countries, you know, like with I swear to God, okay, I know when white people or Americans, you know, like if I consider myself now American now that I have a citizenship. When I go to a very like a New Year's or somewhere like a big attraction, you know, I'm always worried. I'm like, damn, I don't want one of these fools, you know, choosing this day or being in a subway station or in a museum, you know. I was worried too, man. Are you guys not worried about that shit? Like a suicide bomber coming in and blowing shit up. So when they said they're banning these people, you know, because we need to vet them, I was like, well, you know, this 4th of July is gonna be a good day, you know. I mean, I know it's kind of bad to say, but aren't you? I mean, somebody had to say it, right?
No, look, I think what you're saying is a valid. I think it's a lot of people probably have thought
the
that.
vetting is what.
The vetting, yeah, you know.
But you know, one of the biggest things that people didn't like about Trump was that he was painting a lot of different minorities as these people that they weren't, right? And
To appease his base,
it's to appease his base, but he's splitting
the
the
people
country
that
more.
were voting for him. But what he really did, what would he, I mean, he called it a China virus, and everybody was like, "Why are you calling it China virus? Why are you calling it China virus?" You know.
Yeah.
And then he banned people from certain countries, and the Democrats like, "Oh, Muslim ban." And all the news were calling it Muslim ban. Did he call it? Did he wrote like, "Hey, let's come up with a Muslim ban"?
No, he
I
didn't.
think-
He didn't call it a Muslim ban. He just banned all Muslim countries.
But which countries? Which countries?
It was like
Was it
Middle
Somalia,
Eastern, yeah, it was-
Iran?
yeah, a lot
Yeah.
of Middle Eastern countries.
Yeah.
So part of Trump's ban, right, was the thing that people didn't like was that he was painting this picture. So you brought up like, oh, you go to places and you're like, oh no, you're worried about suicide bombers, things like that. But like reality, think about it. I feel like you are a victim of this. Have you seen a suicide bomber recently in the last 10 years on the news in America?
The
If it-
Boston Marathon.
Boston Marathon was, I
When
believe,
was
the last
that?
one.
That was
The
like
last
the last
one.
10 years. Yeah.
Okay. But now, stay with me. He's worried about a suicide bomber. But in reality, have we had more suicide bombers? Or
School shootings.
Yeah, school shootings by just a random person with a gun.
Usually non-ethnic.
But that's the problem. Is he is going places and he's worried about the wrong thing, where the bigger threat is actually something completely different.
I am worried about that as well. To be honest with
Yeah,
you.
who isn't?
But I mean, am I the expert in this? I mean, it's all my opinions.
No,
all I'm
it's
saying
just a
is
fun. It's a fun discussion.
Trump
Yeah.
didn't make it illegal to practice being a Muslim.
Yeah,
That's
of
all I
course.
care about.
That-
As long as he
that's
didn't do
all
that,
that's left for
I
them
don't
to
care.
take. No, I'm kidding.
right?
Let me ask you a
Like-
question. I'm just interested.
We're sounding like some real Trump haters.
I know, but we're always gonna try to play devil's advocate with
Yeah.
our guests because we want to get your opinions out.
Let's wrap it up.
Let's wrap it up. Just I wanna get your answer. Do you think Trump would stop the Israel-Palestine conflict
Yes.
by pressuring Israel,
Yes, I believe so.
not appeasing them, pressuring?
Yes.
Okay, what about you?
I think so too. I
All right.
believe it.
He would
Yeah.
find some sort of deal
Yeah.
to get
Like a
peace over
fair
there.
deal, though.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Yeah. He would.
If he wins,
he went-
inshallah he does.
He
Yeah.
went to North Korea and met the
Kim Jong-un.
Kim Jong-un, right? I mean, no president has ever been there. He went, shook his hand. They had coffee or whatever they had.
He had good relations with Putin.
Putin, he kept.
He said that I would have stopped the Ukraine war somehow.
He would have.
He would've.
Yeah.
He would have. Yeah, he would have. Right now
And
they're selling bunch of Germany's selling weapons. England is selling weapons. France is selling weapons. It's just they just opened a shop over there, man, and they don't care about Ukrainians. Yeah, they're Christians, they're white, but Ukrainians will always be the
A
old
little
Russian-
too far east.
Russians. They all see them Russians, and
Yeah.
and they will never be seen as a part of a NATO, like equal, like just like Turkey. Do you
Mhm.
think Turkey is seen as a equal in the NATO? No, poor guy, vetoing this, vetoing that, but. So I think they just opened up a shop for their weapons to sell their weapons. How much weapons are they selling? Every billions and billions of dollars.
The way I want to wrap this up is I want both of you guys to give any message you have to our viewers or anybody listening in.
Just
To
tell
new Afghans, old Afghans, any Afghans.
Whoever you want to direct it to.
Afghan Americans though.
Yeah,
I would,
Afghan Americans.
I would, especially to the new Afghans, and Afghans that are here but haven't really thought of that. Use, abuse, and take full advantage of all the benefits the governments are offering, meaning from food stamp, welfare, housing, Section 8, anything the government is offering. Take full advantage of that, and because it's really is for that purpose, okay? But the moment you find yourself closing open doors, that means you need to get out of it. If you're getting a better job opportunity, but you're like, you know what? If I get this job, then they're gonna stop or lower my benefit over here or benefit over there. That means now you're a prisoner. If you find yourself finding can buy a car and you're looking for a cosigner, that means hey, you're becoming trapped. Get out of that situation. So use it, abuse it, take full advantage of it until you find yourself closing open doors.
You had me in the first half, and then when you finished, I was like,
Yeah, that's
I agree with
facts.
you.
You
Yes.
dropped some facts right now, and I
Yeah.
completely
Yes.
agree with that.
Yeah,
I
man.
completely agree with it.
So many people, man, they're just so used to that, they don't take any chance, they don't take
Yeah.
the bigger step, like,
Yeah.
oh, I don't want more hours because then they're gonna cut this out, cut that out. That's a slave mentality. Now you're dependent on the government. That will be my, that's something I want everybody to think about, especially the
beautiful.
new Afghans.
That's
That was
beautiful.
good.
Mhm.
So, honestly, I don't. What he said was just perfect. I don't know what other advice you could give.
Mm.
I mean,
Why? Don't live to sustain.
Yeah.
Live, use it, and then move further. Just keep
Yeah.
going. When you get too used to the fan get used to the hand that feeds you. It's just you're just always gonna be that ceiling is just gonna be that.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna get, nothing more.
you know, and I said it again for the third time, take risks. For the new Afghans, young, go to school, you know, get your education, learn English, learn your languages, you know, find something that you're good at, get a good useful skill, practice it, do it day in and day out. And then, you know, if you're out there and you got kids and you're just trying to make it out, just work hard. Give your kids the opportunity, they'll grow up and they'll pay you back 1,000-fold, you know, and stay away from drugs, you know.
Facts.
You know, just get you a good hobby, stay around good people, practice your bean, you know, you'll be set.
Yeah.
The recipe for a good life.
That's it.
Yes.
That's how you do it.
Mashallah. Well, you're the perfect guy to give it.
I'm just, you know, this is advice that I wish somebody would have told me too, you know.
Yeah.
That's
Thank you, bro.
The best
Thank you.
experiences or the best teacher is life, as they say. So cliche, but you know.
Absolutely. Well, those were some really good closing statements. I want to thank you guys for coming on. I heard a lot of funny stories, a lot of knowledge shared across both of you. So thank you guys for coming on, and hopefully, you know, we can maybe have you guys again in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, this was actually fun. It was I thought I was gonna be lost a little bit, but you guys are perfect.
Thank
Kept
you.
me engaged because my thoughts, they go.
Yeah. Hopefully.
Hey, but you had us with that forensics and masters in forensic science, bro. That threw me a curveball.
Hey, but this is okay though. They're starting their own podcast, so they can.
We're
they can
trying,
guys.
We're trying. Hey, now we're under pressure. We have
I
to.
know.
Now the world knows. Thank you guys so much. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, this was
Thank
fun,
you.
man.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I'm
sure.
so proud of you.
Thank you everyone for joining us at the Majlis Podcast. We would love your support, so please like, comment, share, and subscribe.